WXXI's Martin Kaufman lives and breathes all things news. It's almost impossible to imagine him in another career, though he admits he dabbled with the idea of becoming a teacher in his younger years. Well, fortunately for Rochester and the WXXI family, he ultimately chose to work in news and production. For nearly 25 years, he's been immersed in the news and television programming at the station, shooting and editing everything from politics, election debates, and the arts to healthcare and the criminal justice system. He also helped launch Need to Know back in 1997. The program continues to be the longest-running news magazine show in Rochester. While Marty is usually behind the scenes, shooting our field packages and line producing the show, he's joining me at the desk tonight. Why? Well, after tonight, he's taking off for the many new adventures that await in retirement. So, Marty, welcome to your show. Yes, you are leaving.
I thought I was here just to talk about future shows.
This is it, buddy. This is the last one for you.
I didn't know that.
It's incredible to think about the fact that you helped launch this show 22 years ago. You've seen multiple hosts and reporters and producers, and I'm curious as to
come and go.
What are the types of changes that stand out to you when you think back over the past 2 decades?
First, we had 2 hosts, which was different. It's morphed into one.
So there were 2 hosts together at the desk.
2 hosts together, and we used to have 4 reporters at one time, and it was mostly field-based.
Wow.
A lot of work for me. And now it's morphed into basically discussion, one field package, and back in the day, we had a separate section called the business section. So every show we had somebody doing from the DNC, they did a business report. And we did that for a number of years. And at one time, the show was called Need to Know Rochester.
That's right, I remember that.
Because there was a national PBS show called Need to Know. Yeah. So we had to change the name of the show. And then they went off the air. We lasted, we stayed, and now we're back to Need to Know.
I remember you told me when I asked you about this kind of changes. We were talking before the taping. You said it was interesting because you've seen how it's transitioned from a show that was focused a lot on politics to now being more of a show that focuses on social issues. So it's probably interesting for you to see just kind of the dynamics and the changes with the different talent that you have here.
Politics was okay to a point, local and national politics, but I like doing what we've been doing for the last few years more.
I did not pay you to say that, did I?
Yes, you did.
Well, speaking of changes, technology has been a huge thing that's changed for you, in particular when we look at the media landscape. So talk about how you approached some of those changes over the past several years.
With great trepidation, let me tell you that. There's been a lot to learn, a lot of changes. Cameras, we started out, as a matter of fact. I had a camera like this. It was a Betacam, and it was, as you can see, probably about the size that I was. It's almost big, very heavy. And now cameras are, as you know, as everyone knows, are way smaller. And we started out with, I don't know if we're still getting a shot of that, but started out with cassettes that were huge, and they gradually got smaller and smaller, and now we're just using SD cards. Wow. You can put it in your wallet and not lose it.
And then go. And I know your editing software has changed, and you're working on editing changes, and
many
changes. Many.
Yes.
Wow.
When I started, we had tape-to-tape editing. You could just make cuts. You couldn't do anything. And with digital editing, you can basically do whatever you want. One of the downsides is you can get a little bit lazy when you're out shooting, because if you're shooting a photograph or a painting, you just get it for 2 seconds. You don't have to have it level or even, and then as they say in the business, you can fix it in post. You can do anything in post-production, pretty much. You don't have to be steady, you don't have to...
So it's okay if the camera's shaking. And
you can even sharpen things. And it's
incredible.
Unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
Well, Marty, you've covered hundreds of stories. You have met thousands of people throughout your tenure at WXXI. And I know that one of your all-time favorite projects was a documentary that you worked on. It was called Garth and Wynton, The Project. You shot and edited this film with Garth Fagan and Wynton Marsalis. And we have a short clip of that production before we start talking about it.
Let's see it.
the way that Garth embraces the underlying form of the music, which allows you to dance and us to improvise. So we're kind of loosely playing around our solos. In rehearsals, we'll ask him, do we need to get a drum hit or do we need something? And he'll tell us yes or no.
Now, when you wrote, I heard from your music supervisor that you worked pretty quickly, that you had this done, and so it was recorded and handed over to Garth. At that moment, what were you expecting to hear from him, or was there any concern that he might not like it?
No, I don't. If he didn't like it, he would tell me. I would do something else if he liked it. I mean, it's not, our thing is deeper than that. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's the respect I have for him and what he has done and his belief in art and in culture, in all of the cultures of the world and in the Afro cultures, but in all of the cultures. He's not, all the great artists that I was ever fortunate to be around, they were never kind of race people who were only about their thing. They were always about the human heritage. They embraced their ethnic heritage. That's the first sign of their power and their sense of self. But they understood how their ethnic heritage fits, most importantly, in the context of the human heritage. Yeah. And my respect for him and what he has done and his involvement with me through all these years has been so solid. And so our relationship goes far beyond any piece of music, or if he didn't like it, I'll do it again.
Yeah, and if I didn't like it, I'd tell him, and if he didn't like it, he'll tell me. We're not BSing each other. We're going right to the jugular, because we have time. We don't have time for that.
So that was a piece that you worked on with former host
That was
Julie
great.
Phillips.
Yeah.
So talk about, what was that experience like for you?
It was so great to see people at that level. Well, it doesn't get any better than Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah.
And his
That's true.
his band, his orchestra, and just to be around them and to see how they work was very inspiring. It really makes you want to do a good job. It makes you, it gives you that incentive to be your best, or to try to be your best.
Was there anything that from their interviews, or just kind of from observing from filming, that really stood out to you, that intrigued you or was fascinating to you about them? How they worked, how they processed things?
Well, in terms of practicing, I had never heard this. This might be a saying in music industry or the dance, I don't know, but professional theater in some form. Let me see if I can get this right. Somebody told me an amateur practices until they get it right. A professional practices until they can't get it wrong.
Wow.
And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a real professional and, again, it made me want to do my best and to go above and beyond where I was before.
Well, there is another story I want to talk with you about. It's one that we worked on together. It's another one of your favorites, about the change agents. Now, these are guests who were regulars on Need to Know. I'm talking about Jeremiah and Joshua West and their sister Jordan. And they wrote that book, Champions of Change Live to Give, about the power of giving and what it means to take care of and love others. And this was after an encounter that they had in New York City with a homeless man. And so I want to show, this is a clip when we were filming them at a summer camp that they were leading, and they were teaching other young people how to be change agents. Yeah,
They're incredible.
So let's check this out.
You guys can just do little things that will make a huge impact. So write down some ways, maybe just helping your mom when she's really stressed out or when she's really tired. She just got home from a long day. Maybe that will be you helping your brothers and sisters.
These kids are learning how little deeds can make a huge impact. That's actually a motto for these two young men, 10-year-old Jeremiah and his brother, 7-year-old Joshua West.
So guys, want you to realize on me?
While they may not look like your average teachers, make no mistake, they're the ones leading this lesson.
Very good answer, Emerson. That is a very good way to say it. So what Emerson just said, that is a very good way. I'm gonna take one more. I saw Javen had his hand up. I'm gonna take Javen.
They live out on the streets.
Yeah, they live out on the streets, and they don't have any homes or any food, like Emerson said. Okay, guys.
In this exercise, the Rochester brothers are teaching their student peers how to be change agents. It's a term they use when referring to people who give back to their community. And it's also what they strive for each young man to become when they graduate from their summer program, Change Academy.
Change Academy is a program for young African American and Latino boys that teaches them about presentation skills, how to manage their money wisely, how to dream big and start small, how to be community helpers, and also that that they can do anything they want to do.
So we were blown away
Those
by
kids are
Jeremiah
amazing.
Joshua.
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think it was important for us to share their story with our viewers?
They're so selfless. These young kids, and most young kids are not like that. I mean, they're so self-centered, and to tell you the truth, I find the parents, their parents, to be basically they were the influencers, and they created them.
Yeah.
The kids were born, and they're basically a clean slate.
Yeah.
So I credit really their
Olivia
parents.
and Norman
Yes,
West, yeah.
absolutely.
And they moved to North Carolina not that long ago, but they were on the Ellen DeGeneres show not that long ago. They're making waves nationally.
My only question is, are they going to go to Princeton or Harvard? And probably in a couple of years.
We'll find out, right. Well, Marty, before we close, I have to ask, after nearly 25 years at WXXI, you are ready for a new adventure. What awaits in retirement?
Well, I thought of becoming a sheep herder, but I don't have the land for that.
No, you don't.
No, so that's out. But I've always, when I was in college, I always thought it would be great to take classes when you didn't have to take tests, you didn't have to worry about grades.
Yeah.
So I plan on doing that. RIT has a continuing education program, so I plan on taking some classes and maybe some art classes. What does this mean?
That means it's time to wrap.
Oh,
You've got 30 seconds left. 20
Gotcha.
now.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
That's what you usually tell me in my ear to do.
Oh, okay.
But I do want to make sure people, and you love to hike and to kayak and
in the
those would be
summer, not in the
things.
winter. I'm not going to do that in the winter.
Okay, well, we have to close. It is a bittersweet goodbye to Marty Kaufman, and I want to thank you personally for not just being a colleague who made me a better journalist and a better producer, but also an incredible friend. And it has been an absolute thank you. So I greatly appreciate it. And with that, I too am saying goodbye tonight to Need to Know. It has been an honor to host and produce this program for the past 7 years. Thank you for joining me on Thursday night so together we could explore issues, unpack challenges, examine potential solutions, and meet leaders and everyday people working to make our community stronger. I'm excited to grow my production company, which creates and produces short films on social issues and promising responses to those issues impacting societies around the globe. And part of that work involves a new position with the Solutions Journalism Network based in New York City. I will miss your emails, your social media shout outs, your feedback, but I do hope that you will stay in touch.